Vidyut just spoke about Treasury Prism and how we went about it. But so Treasury Prism, for the sake of simplicity, is our online solutioning tool. It helps you to create solutions around cash and liquidity management. But before we get into what Treasury Prism is and what it does, I thought it was very pertinent to share an experience that I had in earlier part of my career with one of a very large MNC. Now, this company is a Fortune 100 company operating in industrial space. They've been pioneers in a lot of business that they do. They've been setting benchmarks for the industry on best practices. So this company in early 2000 decided to set up treasury back office in India. There was a center of excellence they set up in India. And they decided to outsource a lot of their treasury back office work to this center from Europe and in Asia. And once they decided to do that, then they also invited banks to recommend to them liquidity management and cash management solution. So the banks were given about 4 odd weeks to look at that data, to come back with, to the company with their proposed solution, what they thought was the best solution that could work for the company. And we all, bankers are over enthusiastic lot. So we took that data, we worked on it, worked with our product partners, in-country sales guys, and went back to the company with our recommendation. At the time of the launch of the RFP, the company told us that they'll take about 4 weeks to announce the result. And we kept on waiting with a bated breath for the outcome to happen, and it took them fairly long. And finally, when they actually announced the result, and all of the banks were called for debrief, one of the things which the treasurer told us was the reason why they took so long, and he said that this exercise was a lot more complicated than what they had originally envisaged. The complication for them arose not on account of technical evaluation of what different banks had proposed, but the complication for them arose because the moment they started looking at each of the markets, that's the time they figured out that they're not looking only at the technical solution, but they're also looking at the regulation, they're also looking at the tax and the withholding tax implication, and so it became a lot more complex for them. They had to do significant amount of internal stakeholder engagement. They had to reach out to people in accounts, people in operations, people in legal, taxation, to get the inputs and to say that what structures would work and what structures don't work. Subsequently, when they embarked on implementation of this mandate, actually it took them more than 12 months to get it implemented. And that was because when they undertook that journey to implement it, they kept on hitting bumps as they went along. And each of the market, the new issues, they kept on coming up, the regulations could change, something new could come. And that's really where, they figured out that that was not as easy as they thought it would be. And ladies and gentlemen, that's really the genesis of Treasury Prism. So again, in that spirit of doing a human-centric design, doing customer journeys, we figured out that this is an area of interest for a lot of treasurers, especially the treasurers of large corporates, managing large treasuries, people running the shared service centers, the treasury back offices, because they are always trying to figure out the right way and the right solution, and looking at the complex markets and navigate them. So the Treasury Prism was designed to help the treasuries. It was developed, doing customer journeys. We interviewed about 60 odd treasurers. We asked them the questions around what is it that they would like a true digital advisor to be doing for them? What is it that that keeps them awake? What are their pain areas, and how could we help them? Now, basis the input that we got from these people, we developed a smart algorithm. It's an algorithm which was fed into this tool, this platform, and it looks at data across various data points. So it looks at it from a rates perspective, it looks at it from a risk perspective, and looks at data from a regulation perspective. So you feed in your yields, you can feed in your liquidity, your debt, the taxes, and then try to run, including your cost, the corporate cost as well. So if there's a cost of debt, the system has the ability to take that data, and then it runs the simulation. So what earlier could be done in matter of weeks, in our earlier example that I spoke about, could now be done in matter of minutes. So once you have fed the data and you have the data points, you can actually run the simulation and compare the scenarios. So the strength of the platform is it tells you what are the different scenarios that could work better for you, and it gives you the data points so that you can predict the outcome. Now, the moment you're able to predict the outcome, then you have greater confidence in engaging your business partners internally to say what course of action you want to take. If you're looking to create a new structure, you're looking to enter a new market, whatever structure is there in your mind, you're likely to mobilize a lot more support, because now you are able to predict an outcome which otherwise would have taken you weeks, and you could still be guessing whether that's really the right way to go about it. Treasury Prism also has a knowledge center in it. It has data points across 24 countries. It has fact sheets on these countries, as well as it contains articles around the latest trends on cash management, on digitalization, as well as various other things on what's happening in the space of treasury and liquidity management. Now, this is, again, a very powerful tool if you look at it, because it does few things. It helps you to keep pace with what's happening in the market. If you have new joiners in your team, then it helps them to come up to the curve pretty fast. And if you have a new idea and you wanted to share the new idea, socialize it internally, your stakeholder engagement, that becomes much, much faster. We launched Treasury Prism in 2017 in Singapore, and since then, the response that we are getting has been phenomenal. We have 1,200 corporates who have registered themselves on Treasury Prism, and the feedback has been overwhelming. The customers who love it, they love it because it's bank agnostic. Customers love it because it's truly objective, it's dispassionate, it doesn't have a bias. So it's not as if the Treasury Prism has been designed keeping the strengths of DBS in mind. It is a system where you can call for 7 proposals from different banks, and you could run through it, and it will give you an outcome where you're confident that the outcome is really what is the best course of action for you. The other thing which our customers love about Treasury Prism is that there is no obligation on their part. So you don't have to sign any document, you don't have to commit any business, you just get onto this portal, register yourself, and start using it, and use it to the maximum advantage. So, we have this tagline in DBS, live more, bank less, and I think Treasury Prism just endeavors to do that. It tries to give our treasurers and our customers more productive time back to themselves, so that what they could achieve in weeks and months earlier, they could do a lot faster now, getting real-time insights in terms of the regulations, in terms of the outcome, and they can go about their business. So with that, I'll hand it over to Jeetu to talk about the features of Treasury Prism as well as the benefits. Over to you.